Good morning, Donald Mowers Electrical Services. I want to make a small video about reviews and can they be trusted? I guess are they real? So there's a couple like dark little sides about reviews, especially some of these lead generation sites, and that's what they are for the business owner. It creates leads. It's new clientele coming in. So like, and I'm not gonna mention names, but one of them is like a list, and the other one is some type of home something. So on the back end, not on the consumer end. On the consumer end, you pay, and this company is supposed to provide you with like quality people. On the back end, on the business side of it, we're paying them for them to give us leads. Okay, and one of them is they don't really care how good you are, as long as you have insurance. They're gonna because they're charging us for every time that a consumer gets our phone number, we get charged. And depending on, like, we have a whole checklist of everything, however, whatever kind of work we want to steer ourselves into, regardless of our quality of work. So, and then they bid us up against each other. So like, if you as a homeowner are looking for an electrician, and if the camera gets a little shaky, sorry, I'm driving. So if you as a homeowner are looking for an electrician, you go onto one of these sites and they're going to give you 3 electricians, okay, maybe even 4, it depends. And all 3 of us as electricians are getting billed for that lead. Doesn't really matter how good we are, what our quality levels are. And then they try to get reviews, they try to email the homeowner. But if the homeowner doesn't see the actual electric behind the wall and the review is taken within, I don't know, like the day of the work, you don't really know if the electric is safe or if it's done in a decent manner, because their standard is so low. Their basic standard is if the electric works, it's good. Like if the circuit turns on and the lights look okay or the light fixture looks good, that's it, and you get a good review from it. And I don't really think that's a good review for electrical, considering you can make something work one day and 3 months down the road it's going to burn up on you. If you install something, it should last 20 years, at least 10 years, without any outside interference. If your installation practices are decent, whatever you install is going to last the lifetime of the product, okay? But if your installation practices are crappy or shortcutting or rushed, or you just don't care, it's not going to last very long. 6 months, 3 months, maybe 1 year, and then you're going to start having issues. And then depending on how bad your practices are, the issues can get very bad. So that's where reviews they don't add up, okay? Another problem with reviews are these companies are forcing reviews, okay? So an organic review is the homeowner being happy and going on the internet and stating, hey, this guy's awesome, he really came through, blah, blah, blah. And they're hard to get because you're not asking for them, they naturally happen. But when you start asking for reviews, you're forcing that person to give an opinion, and they might just say you're good just to get you out of their hair. Or they might just say you're good because, hey, he came, the switch works, awesome. But that doesn't mean he's solving anything, or that's not a judgment on his practices. Because some of these companies that have like thousands of reviews, I know for a fact they're junk, because I know what's going on behind the walls. So like some of these members that belong to these sites call me, and I go out and I inspect these other guys' work, and it's junk. And the homeowner is feeling duped in a way because they're relying on these sites, and they don't think, like, if the site is making money on the lead generation through electricians, meaning if the site's charging electricians to find them work, That's not, it's kind of double dipping in a way, because one, they're charging the homeowner to be a part of the service, and then they're not really giving the homeowner quality work. They're giving the homeowner electricians that are willing to pay that company to find them work. So it's like a double dip here. It's like a double standard. So yes, I definitely say be wary of like thousands of reviews. Like, I'm sorry, but it's insane. There was this company that had all these great reviews. So we brought them onto our site. We had a large rewire. We had to get done in 5 days. So we bring one of these list companies out there, and we had plenty of work for the guys. I mean, they could have given us 3 or 4 guys, and we would have kept them working for at least 60 hours, each man. And we caught them sleeping in the attic. We caught them with a lawn chair in the attic sleeping because they were getting paid time and material. Another problem is their work that they did wrong. So we had to take out the ceiling fan support brackets. How do you if you're an electrician, how do you put a ceiling fan support bracket in wrong? I don't understand how they did it, but they're just, again, you're getting guys put in a truck. These companies are trying to grow, and they're just not putting skilled labor in a truck, but legally they're allowed to do it. So that's what they're doing today. So I just be weary of these reviews, okay? Because they're sketchy. It's not organic. You're not getting what you think you're getting with some. Now these don't, like, I'm talking about the lead generation sites, like these sites that are going to there. I do have to admit, the Better Business Bureau is a pretty good site to go to. They're decent. I like them, but I'm not paying for lead generation. I don't like doing that. I feel like if I'm any good, my own quality of work will provide me with work, and it has for over 15 years. It's provided me with work. So when I see companies doing this, I understand the business model of, hey man, we gotta keep our guys working. But I think you're duping the homeowner by selling them a story, and what you're selling them isn't really the full truth. It's at least not. It's not what's really going on. Let's put it that way. All right. So that's my take on reviews and these lead generation sites, because I've seen the product that's out there, and the product isn't very good. The homeowner that's giving like a 5-star review or a 4-star review, oftentimes they don't know what's going on behind the walls. And if it's within like a week or two, or that's the problem with electric. If it's done wrong, it's still gonna work. I hope. If it's done that wrong, it won't work. But if it's done wrong, it'll still work for a little while, and then you're gonna have problems later on, like as you use your electric. Like if the guy tapped into a bathroom circuit by accident, when you run a hairdryer, it'll blow the circuit if he tapped into it wrong. So there's a couple of there's too many shortcuts to mention in a small video. That's a major problem with electric, is that there's so many ways to cut a corner and to be illegal. And it comes down to the electrician's morals and ethics, and we're constantly tested every time we open up a wall, because doing it the right way takes time. It takes practice. You really have to be on top of yourself, because there's so many times an electrician is tempted to take a shortcut. There's so many shortcuts, and if you have a guy that just doesn't care, or his morals and ethics aren't exactly all with him, then he's going to take every shortcut he can. Something that's supposed to take 2 hours is going to take 45 minutes. The problem is those shortcuts can become hazardous, okay? And depending on what shortcut you're taking, it can get real bad. I'm going to give you the worst shortcut you can do. And I made a video on it because we caught the guy. So a three-way, that means a switch that works from the top of your steps and the bottom of your steps. So it's usually for like your hall lighting, all right? So it requires 3 conductors, especially with AFCI breakers today. You can no longer do some of the wiring methods that were done back in the day. Back in the day, they could use a standard wire that only had 2 conductors, and then they would jump onto a neutral on the second floor or jump onto a neutral from a different circuit on the first floor. And what happens, why is this so hazardous, is when the circuit is off, the neutral is still active. All right, so you're not really shutting down any circuits. So it becomes extremely hazardous for if the homeowner is working on the home, if the homeowner is getting construction done on the home, or if another electrician is in there that didn't do his due diligence and check all this stuff. That's the kind of stuff that can become extremely dangerous. And I think that should be known. I think, sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. I think we need to start addressing some of these shortcuts, and if you address the shortcut, most likely guys will stop doing it, okay? Especially like when we have subs on our site and we know the shortcuts that they're probably going to attempt to do, and we tell them not to, like stabbing outlets. We do not allow people to stab outlets because of how hazardous it can be. I'm not saying that technically they're allowed to do it. But on our sites, we don't want it done. So we ask them, and then if they go and do it, then the next job, we're not going to bring them on. That's all. We shake hands. Sorry, we just don't allow that type of electrical work done. Have a good day. We value our customers' safety more than you do. Point blank. All right? So I went from reviews to this, and I'm sorry I got off topic. My camera's a little shaky right now. So thank you for watching. Have a good day, and talk to you next time. Bye-bye.